Hello and welcome to the Extremely Live podcast. Today I'm interviewing a friend of mine who's anonymously going by the artist name 1080OK because they're ashamed of their shitcoining. So I want to just record this disclaimer. He knows I'm Bitcoin only. And you should know that I'm Bitcoin only, and Extremely Live is Bitcoin only. But this is my friend, and I let them talk about their NFTs, which are cool. But yeah, you know, until there's an NFT based on Bitcoin, I wouldn't suggest that as a way to try and make profits. But if you just want to buy a cool thing from a cool person, maybe that's on a different realm or something. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to say up top that Extremely Live only believes in Bitcoin. Everything else is a potential way to lose your money. Unless, of course, you want to support my friend. I don't know. Do what you want. But yeah, I just wanted to say that up top. It is cool stuff. You should check it out for sure. And with that, let's get into the interview. All right, we're here with 1080.
Okay.
No. We laugh because we know each other, and 1080 is not using their real name.
Yeah, I'm not using my real name because I'm trying to stay anonymous, which is something we could get into.
Yeah, let's start there. I'm into it actually. I have had internet phases where I didn't want anyone to know my name. I wanted like a cool hacker name.
It's so embarrassing, yeah.
So yeah, tell me why you're doing it.
Well, I don't know. Like, it is that there's still a stigma about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have what is I have I'm not even a micro influencer, but there's a point, like, okay, like I'm kind of known in some scenes.
Yeah, you're really fucking me by not letting me use your real name, so I can't brag.
No, I mean, it's like, so there's a thing where, like, maybe, like, you're noteworthy if enough strangers follow you and is like a fan of yours.
Right.
I'm like in comedy or podcasting or whatever, and
right.
like, and it is a thing where it's like, if I want to promote things that I make through crypto, and but it's that thing where, like, the knee-jerk reaction of these strangers who would, like, I would get enough shit from my friends, not you, but like other people, and it's like, it's hard to like change the subject after, say that we were at a bar, and then I mentioned like Bitcoin or like crypto, and then it turns into that, like, kind of hacky, it's like hackneyed already, that conversation of when people like shit on it or FUD it or whatever. And like, how many times do you have to update your defenses? And you know, they're like, their offenses on the FUD are so outdated.
Yeah.
And like, and it's like, yeah, and it's hard to like avoid, and then having to have followers, like fans of yours, do that would just like change everything. And again, I'm barely a micro influencer, but I need every follower I need.
You know,
someone I could monetize.
I'm not making this a pleb story because you're too famous.
Well, Wait,
you're not a Maxi.
I after these like drops and everything and the market's crashing, it is very comforting knowing I have some money and I think the most I put it, not the most cuz I'm still in the stock market, but it is comforting to know that just Bitcoin is decentralized.
Yeah.
And so like most of, I would say 99.9% of my where I put my money in crypto is in Bitcoin.
That's good.
So I'm almost
I'm
Maxi.
proud of you.
Thanks. But I am curious about what that whole NFT thing is.
Yeah. I mean,
it is 99.9% garbage.
yeah.
But it does have potential, I think.
Totally. I do get the interest, especially as, both you and I are, we like making art. We draw and stuff. And I totally get the appeal of wanting to explore the NFT space for sure. I wish it was built on Bitcoin. I wish I wish more people were kind of building services on top of Bitcoin to make more stuff like that. I feel like it's coming. It's just it's so much slower with Bitcoin because they just
but what about, sorry, I didn't mean
No, I was just going to say, like, it's just so much more careful. The community is way more careful, which is understandable. Like, there's a lot of horrible, stupid bullshit.
What about the idea of people comparing Bitcoin to, like, just like a gold reserve? Like, you're not going to, like, build a business out of
gold reserve, yeah.
Like, a store of value. But I do like the idea of, like, using it through patronage.
Yeah.
It's weird going back to the doxing and whatever thing. I don't know what terminology Bitcoiners use. Like, is that as common when like, oh, is that person doxed?
There's dox talk. Yeah, for sure. In what way though? What do you mean? Like,
so like in the NFT space, it's like, oh, this project's good because the artist is doxed and whatever, and usually like the scammers are
wait, the artist is doxed, meaning they know who it is?
Yeah, because sometimes when they promote a project, this is how shitty and scammy that scene is.
Yeah, fill us in. This is just an NFT episode.
No, yeah. Just we'll get back to the Bitcoin thing, but like, so it's like, if you don't know, it's like people are like, they'll be like, oh, you should get into these whatever. What's an adjective? Give me an adjective.
Oh God. I don't even. I'm homeschooled. I don't know if I remember what an adjective
A descriptive word.
Like chubby penguins or whatever.
And then an animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so it's okay. So it's
should just go
bloated.
Bloated cockroaches. Oh, you should get into these bloated cockroaches because the artist worked for Google and Disney, and they don't say anything else. It's like, and then people are like, "Oh my God, this is this image of a silhouette of a human worked for Disney." And it was like what, like probably like an intern or like someone in social media or whatever for whatever kids game show.
Yeah, that's my trick.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I work for Disney as an editor on a show that was canceled immediately.
Yeah. I mean, they do that in the comedy scene where it's like, this come to our show because of this comedian, and then in parentheses it's like Comedy Central, and it's like they were a background actor or something. It's like, okay, I guess that checks out. Yeah. But and then like people give them millions of dollars, and then it turns out they're just random people in Dubai. And then they try to do detective work, and then it's like, oh look, it's just this guy from Dubai sitting next to a Lamborghini, and he got all our money, and so it's like, wow, okay. So there's that. But it's so it's completely understandable. And then but I like the idea. Say that all of that is normalized, and like we figured out how to like people are more comfortable with being doxxed, and it's like, hey, I'm just a dumb idiot from Brooklyn who makes fun art and videos, and I have supporters. They why, and I don't have a Patreon, and their Patreon's normalized.
Right.
So many right wingers make millions up through their Patreon, but as soon as you say like, hey, I got this comedy album in NFT form, and if you support it, you support directly me without supporting some corporation who will just give me pennies.
Right.
They'll be against it.
Damn.
So we have to figure out, and I agree that it's not as sound as Bitcoin, but but I'm curious how that's playing out, play out.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, you and I are in New York City. Everyone's left-leaning, and I think the left is particularly anti-cryptocurrency, I would say.
That's the other thing that bugs me, is that if you're progressive, and this is a whole scene that could potentially, at least rib the corporate world and the institutions,
I know.
wouldn't you want to support the potential?
But you would.
So it comes down to like being trendy on the internet. Like you get more points if you shit on whatever Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean,
and these are like 12-year-olds. Like, how do they know about finances?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about finances when I was a 12-year-old TikToker.
Yeah, the politics of everything has gotten so ridiculous and completely hypocritical, and it just doesn't make any sense anymore. So there's really no point in trying to figure out where they're coming from. I don't think it's just like
they're all establishment Democrats, it turns out.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Or at least they are consistently fighting for establishment bullshit while claiming they want a socialist revolution. So bizarre.
Yeah, so there's that. I forgot what else I was going to say. Yeah.
Well, let's.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Oh no, my phone is going off. Sorry. Sorry, folks. We've been drinking some.
Wait, you're gonna cut it down, right?
I wasn't planning on it. Why? What do you want me to cut out?
All the dead silences.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh gosh. All right.
Yeah, this is gonna be a late night stream. This is after midnight. Crypto scams after midnight with 1080.
You could use the silences to chime in, and we could pretend we're listening to you.
That's a good idea. Let's go over your background.
Oh yeah, how I got into it.
Yeah, let's cause that's. I'm curious why that is. Like, why is there such a huge swath of people who think? I mean, I'm focused on Bitcoin personally, but
respect.
But like they hate on that too. Like they're totally against it. They, like you were saying, it's you have to listen to all their ancient attacks about how it's bad for the environment or whatever, whatever else that has been proven untrue or no different than
Yeah, doesn't it just
using a washing machine.
doesn't that just mean they're pro oil? And so it's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking
Dude,
about?
I'm telling you, there's no reason to take these people seriously anymore because their arguments don't make any sense. It's literally just clout chasing, I guess, was what it feels like, where they're just jumping on whatever the new thing you're supposed to be mad at. The right wing side of Twitter calls it the current thing, where it's like, I support the current thing. And like you would see it with like during COVID, it was, all the COVID shit. And then right when Ukraine kicked off, it was like you had to put a Ukraine flag in your bio,
Oh
and
my gosh. Yeah.
it's like that.
It's that thing where like it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. As far as like when we're performing our political identity, it's like, yeah, it's hard to be on the left leaning and then also be like, what are you guys doing?
I know. It is very hard. I'm bad at it because I get angry and then I sound like a crazy
Trump supporter.
Yeah, as I'm accused of constantly.
But do you want to talk about how I started?
Yeah, I want to know
Where I heard about it?
Yeah, when did you first hear of let's say Bitcoin.
Yeah.
When was the first time you heard of Bitcoin?
Man, it was whenever it was coming out. And it's crazy. I don't know if you have these fantasies of like if I knew. Yeah, I've been having that a lot. And I grew up an internet person.
Me too.
I'm of that generation where like I started with the 12 baud modems. Going up, getting excited whenever it got to like 14, 28 DSL
Hell
cable. So I was part of that scene. And yeah, it's like you go to the dark corners of the internet.
Yep.
I don't know how I avoided becoming an incel type of person, but that's just what happened, and I was able to not be one of those people. But it's just like you have these friends or online friends, and you catch wind of this stuff, and then there's that whole fucking the dark web shit, and that's when it became like a real currency.
Yeah.
And so
Silk Road.
Yeah, that whole Silk Road scene. And I had a friend that I mostly knew online who was a drug guy and was like and would like, and it is that thing where like even he had a few Bitcoins and then eventually sold it. It's that thing where you like think that, oh, this is the top, I'll sell it and make $100.
I suspect that's the story with most early Bitcoiners, because like, how could you not,
right?
Unless you were like a true believer who fully understood the potential. Like, if you bought it like 3 cents and it went to $100, you're gonna sell.
Mm-hmm.
Especially back then, before it
sure
got mainstreamed, and now people kind of understand it as, oh, this isn't like a fuck around lottery ticket. This is like actual digital gold.
It made me wish I was a big drug guy and also wanted to hire hitmen to kill people. But it's yeah, and then yeah, I would hear people talk about how they have some Bitcoin and stuff, and then that's what's weird, because people compare, which I thought was kind of lovely, when the internet started coming out, breaking into the mainstream, the big joke was like, oh, you're a pedophile, or oh, you're into porn. You want to download that JPEG of a pirated.
How old were you when you started getting on the internet? You're a little older than I am, so I'm curious.
I want to say, I would say like 13.
Okay, cool.
And then, yeah, 15. I started making friends.
What year? Because you've
you're
got me
just dating me.
56K
Oh, yeah, 56,
modem was when I started. You're talking about 18 baud.
So
like way early 90s, right?
93.
And were you what was that old like Usenet or whatever? Were you in there?
I didn't get I never was a Usenet guy. I did IRC.
Yeah, me too.
And CompuServe and AOL and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
IRC was the most hackery I got. You could get your whatever, your wares and cracked programs and stuff like that. And,
Totally. Forgot about cracking.
Yeah, and for some reason the book of the internet back then was the Anarchist Cookbook.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder if this because of how the internet subgroups break into, like, let's say the broad, I don't want to say mainstream, I guess.
Yeah.
How like intertwined that is, like these underground things don't have time to gestate enough.
Oh, interesting.
Because back then, again, it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of phishing scams and
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it was like scary and like how crypto world is and everything. Yeah. But now everyone's like on the pulse, so like the way people react to it is different because it's all flown into your face.
Totally.
And then along the way of growing up, my dad was a I don't know if you want to say hobbyist, but he was like a day trader type.
Yeah, I actually have that written down because once you and I kind of got serious about investing and buying Bitcoin, I would say close to the same time, or at least I started talking to you about it.
You definitely dragged me into it, and and I could credit you for it, which is probably good.
Hopefully in the long run. It's not right now.
Oh, no, for sure. I think you definitely saved my life in this weird way. So
but I was fascinated. I bring this up because I was fascinated to discover you were like you're like a technical analysis guy. You have all these hidden talents that I didn't know about.
They were
apparently it came from your father.
Yeah, they were like basic ideas. I would identify as Asian leaning.
Dude, don't dox yourself.
No, they're gonna find me. Good luck with that, by the way. No, yeah, so I say that because it's like there was a point in my growing up where they realized I'm not going to be a doctor or
Your dad's a doctor.
Yeah, and I was, I'm a dum-dum. I'm a creative, and so there's my dad was like, dude, you could just make money off the stock market. I just teach you how to day trade, bro.
Wow, he sounds so cool.
I know. His hat was backwards. And so there were a few years where like on and off where he would like try to teach me, and then whenever I paper traded, I was like, damn, I'm making like thousands of dollars, and then he's like, here's my account, just give it a go, and then I would like lose.
What age?
I would say there was a point in my senior year-ish
High school?
high school, and then there was a point when
Wow.
I forgot to apply to colleges, kinda, and so I last minutely enrolled into like a trade school for multimedia design.
That's cool.
And
It's
then
probably better off.
yeah, at the end of the day, and then because I definitely wasn't gonna use whatever degree.
Mm.
And then I floundered a bit, and then my dad tried to teach me again, and then that didn't work out. so yeah, coming back to like whatever the past year or so, few years, I did end up finally getting a decent job with money, and COVID helped me save money, and then I had a girlfriend I liked, and then this was the first time I thought about my future,
Ah.
and then I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?" And then it's like I have to put my money to work. That's what they say, because
Yeah.
I heard that rumor where it's like if it's sitting in the bank, you're losing money, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. I want to take care of people now, and so in my these days, I've been putting my money away,
Nice.
and then so you were constantly talking about crypto, and I just like look at it, and then. Were you always straight? You weren't always straight up into Bitcoin, were you?
No, I started as a shit coiner just like everyone else.
Uh-huh.
What was it? Litecoin. I had Litecoin first because I was like, well, I'm too poor for Bitcoin, so I'll get Litecoin.
That was it.
The selling point, the pitch was Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold.
Yeah.
So
Turned out it was just a theory.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But I didn't do a lot. I bought a little of that. I bought
Litecoin was your first one.
and some Bitcoin. But the idea, I mean, back then I was like, well, what's the point if you can't afford to own a whole coin?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like I think that's a lot of people's thinking, and so they buy the cheap stuff hoping they'll.
Yeah.
Also, everyone wants to get rich quick, which I also was in that boat back then. I was like, out of desperation, basically.
My my tendencies, I'm such a alternative kid, and I'm such an alt indie hipster kid. It's that my instincts is always to not go with the front runner and like go with
even in something so
seriously
niche.
for real. Like
That's funny.
I'm such a like oh, I'm always into these obscure bands.
Anti-establishment.
I was always into obscure bands, and like if that became popular, I'd be like, yeah, they sold out. I was into it before they were famous, and then I'd like discover. There's like
Bitcoin hit an all new time high. Fuck this.
But like you learn fast when your money's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the stock and regular stock market, where it's like, you want to put your money behind the winners, and I had to fight those instincts of like, oh, this is the cool company, and so I think I did the Litecoin, I did Chainlink.
Yeah.
I think you guys were talking about
that,
and I was like,
I was talked into some Chainlink as well.
That's kind of, I bought a little, and this was when I was like overseas, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just sitting in a hotel room, and one of the reasons why I was so hesitant is because I was like worried, like, my dumb brain, I was like, I don't know how to work this out with taxes, And so like I was
Yeah.
always hesitant about that. And then I think there was a point during the COVID when you were talking about it, and then I started getting into it and like reading the graphs and stuff. Was it
Yeah.
all the Dogecoin talk? Maybe it was before that.
I don't remember. I definitely, by the beginning of the pandemic, I went full Maxi. That's probably when I was talking about it that much. Um, I like I got lucky in that I jumped on my shit coinery pretty early on, so that I traded out of it into Bitcoin at a profit, which
Yeah,
was exciting. And that's what I think everyone's trying to do.
I kind of did that.
Yeah. But where was I going? I don't know. I I definitely started hitting you and a couple of our friends up about Bitcoin all through. Like, I ended up. I think I started actually. Now that I'm thinking, I think I started with talking about stocks because I had
Mm-hmm.
put in a bunch of money in. I was like hyping myself up to put money into the
Mm-hmm.
stock market because
Yeah.
I had become a Bitcoin maxi before that, but I didn't really put a lot of skin in the game yet. So for whatever reason, I was still scared to go all in on Bitcoin, and I started buying stocks rather than buying more shit coins. Basically,
Mm.
I think that's was my trajectory, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it's funny seeing when you're worried when Bitcoin drops, because I have the
Yeah.
opposite feeling where it's like everything's crashing and there are certain stocks that you feel comfortable with that's going
Mm.
to outlast and whatever survive and like, jump back up. And I feel like Bitcoin, I feel safe in it
Yeah,
compared to everything else.
totally.
Whereas like, there isn't a company or an entity behind it.
Yeah,
And there's
I
safety in that.
dude, that is one of the best things about it. I every single time I look at an image of Vitalik Buterin, I don't know how anybody can fucking own Ethereum. I'm like,
He's
this
such a
man is a scam artist. He's a creep. He's definitely smart, but I think evil smart. Like,
You
I
don't
don't trust him at all.
you don't think that he has the best interests at. Because you know how like these smart people don't know how to uh what do you call it, perform in the public space.
Interesting.
And then for
you're
me that's
describing
like
autism in a nice
kind
way.
of, I'm trying, like, like growing up
Autistic people are fine. I have autistic people in my family. We're not being
It's
mean.
true.
Continue.
It's that thing where it's like I never trust charisma growing up.
Yo,
And where it's like,
interesting.
because when they're charismatic, it's like
It's a
they're what do they want from me?
snake oil salesman. I would agree with that if they didn't like pre-mine. You know what I mean? Like,
Also, for the record, I don't pay attention to him, so like I don't know what he's saying and stuff. But I hear things on my separate crypto Twitter account where like people are like, "Oh, the way he talked about that makes me bearish on Ethereum," and then someone else comments like, "No, that's just how he always is." Or whatever.
yeah, I don't know. It's not that I like listen to him talk and I'm like disgusted or whatever. It's just it doesn't just what like they're switching to proof of stake and like the whole thing is like just sounds so scammy. Like, it doesn't sound like they're already pretending to be decentralized when they're not, and now they're just getting rid of that wholesale by going proof of stake, and that just like the whole way it works is you just have to have a shitload of Ethereum in order to stake to begin with. So it's like you already have to be rich to control the network, and all the rich people are going to control it.
Yeah.
It just feels
That
like,
never works out.
yeah, it feels like, at least with Bitcoin, if you're getting fucked, you're getting fucked along with everybody. Like, you know what I mean? It feels much more of like, it feels like you're all on the same team, whereas I don't think that's the case in Ethereum, especially with like the gas fees and shit like that. Like, you can feel the middlemen getting their taste of every transaction you do. It just feels,
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
like
the
it.
institutional.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's like top down. There's a head of it. He's getting the most out of it, and you're hoping to get your taste down the line. Just, it doesn't feel like the same thing at all to me. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't get off on shitting on other crypto, but I don't know. I don't trust any of it, really. I really don't. I just listened to an interview on Robert Breedlove's podcast with Caitlin Long, and she's like an insanely smart person, is a Bitcoin maxi for sure. And she was the first person who made a point that made me even entertain the idea that maybe there's something of value potentially in the crypto space outside of Bitcoin that isn't just a bullshit scam. But she basically was like, her big warning was like, most of the stuff like doesn't need to have a token, and the only reason they have a token is because they're trying to make money off of you, and it's not about the whatever the.
That's interesting, because yeah, it is. You can't FUD a technology.
Yeah.
It's a technology.
Yeah.
But the way people are using it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels. I mean, obviously, people have made shitloads of money off of like good trades and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I've given up the whole buy 10 cents of something and turn it into $8 million in 6 months. Like, I just, it's buying lottery tickets. It's the same fucking thing. It's like lottery tickets for the new generation of poor people.
That makes me, I don't know how much you're exposed to this, but a lot of people in the NFT space are poker players, and they're good poker players. They're like champions or something like that. And it's like, and a lot of them do well. Maybe it's like a community that's already built into it, so they know each other and stuff. Sorry, I'm just like speculating, but like, how is the Bitcoin space? Can you profile them? Like, is there like what are they like?
A type of Bitcoiner?
Are there a lot of poker players who are in Bitcoin, or are they all just tech people or libertarians?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of those. I would say the more I've delved into it, the more diverse it is. There's definitely a lot of different like groups and types. There's definitely like people being like, why would you give up your guns? The government will kill you if you don't have a way to protect yourself. Like that mindset. There's a lot of those types in Bitcoin. There's a lot of like you said, libertarians, but I'm seeing more left-leaning types getting involved, which is interesting. But no, there's not like, I would say they seem more traditional. Like the thing I hear more is like, you need to save, you need to save in a money that isn't shit, so that you can prepare for your future, young man. Like it's kind of that energy. It feels old school. It feels like
interesting. Yeah, because I heard that recently. One of the institutions said that it's their number one alternative. Sorry, I'm getting the words wrong. It's like real estate is like an alternative investing strategy or something
Right.
like that. Whereas like Bitcoin is the other one or whatever.
Interesting.
Or crypto. I don't know.
They definitely the whole, like, everyone gets excited when obviously you hit a new all-time high, but the whole vibe of like, let's all get rich, like that, I don't see that at all anymore, really. Like, again, everyone is excited when it's going up, but it's more of like
I'm
savings.
yeah.
That's what I see more of. It's just like,
It's the same people who talk about whatever interest or like bank shit and stuff like that.
It does feel, I guess, and more like gold people, like preparing for the worst.
It's funny because like
prepare for a rainy day.
I'm excited when it goes down.
I always,
in the
my
chat
heart
group.
hurts for like
That's
5
'cause
minutes.
You have more money in it than me. Maybe that's why.
It hurts for like, a little bit, but then it's like, well, I have a daily buy anyway, so I'm excited. Like, I am, like, seeing how much my daily buy gets me right now is fucking awesome. Like, it's just like, okay, no, the dollar number is not what you are in this for. You're in for the fucking sat number, and that is just tripled overnight. Like, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exciting.
And like, I guess it's the volatility that gives me the stomach ache. Like, if it, like, I even now, like, it's been hit, like, it's around like 20,000. Just the fact that it's been at least that area for like a week makes me feel better, because it's like, at least it's staying the same. It's the constant going up and down is the part that still bothers me.
There's a technique or a trick or a perception in when you're reading the charts, is that you want to keep it at the very least, just look at the daily charts. Or but yeah, I think that's that thing. You see how choppy it is, the smaller increments you go.
Yeah.
But then when you're looking at like weekly or whatever, it's like, oh, this is chill.
Yeah, totally.
You can see it going up.
That's the other thing everyone says is like, zoom your chart out.
Yeah.
And I look at the all-time chart all the time, and it's like, oh no, this is real. Like, not that I don't feel like it's real anymore, but like, it does get, like I say, the volatility gets scary, and it'll be nice when that isn't as much of a concern in the future. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a day where, even if it goes up less each year, like percentage wise, if it didn't drop so much, I would feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
you just want to be able to afford that yurt.
Yeah, exactly. God, Marshall's looking at trailers today and being like, they don't look that bad.
There are high-end trailer, like people, God, what was it? Like, someone was saying, like, it was either Buffett or Gates. Well, Gates owns the farmland, but there's like people where like it's a legitimate investment to invest in, to buy like trailer parks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it just sucks that we're just like tricking out Hoovervilles and not seeing that it's like a sign. Like, yeah, we don't need McMansions, but also we're just putting enamel on Hooverville. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the McMansion thing is gross as well.
Yeah.
Like, I would never want that. I would want to. The thing I envision and that makes me excited is either buying like a very old house, or just building a small house of your own from the start.
Yeah, I think I told you my friend. Yeah, I did. My friend works at an auction house, and
That's cool.
he he won a settlement because he got hit by a car.
Oh God.
But and he put that, and he found like this like old. He gave me a tour, and it's so nice, and he's just fixing it up, and it's like this beautiful old house in the middle. Not it's in a small town,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, if only I didn't live in New York.
I know. That's God. There's just no sense in trying. I mean, it's an impossibility for me to buy something around here. I am sick of just being a renter, though. It's just
It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's a bummer, and not to have anything you can even pass down is it sucks.
I have my drawings of Steve Buscemi and BTS. Those are gonna be the, what do you call it?
Your family heirloom.
Yeah, that's my heirloom.
Mine's Bitcoin, hopefully.
That's what I don't get about generational wealth, because it's like, granted, this is a broad stroke, but it's like, it's nice to take care of your generation, but it's like their personality is not gonna come out good.
Yeah.
It's like I would like to keep them in the middle somehow, like maybe I don't know how trusts work or whatever, but it's like, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. I definitely benefited from being poor in certain ways. Like just having, I mean, I wouldn't recommend having parents who ask you to help them pay their bills. That's as a teenager, that's a bit too far.
The only thing that I don't think you benefit is that you don't take enough photos of your vacations or whatever weird hotel you're in, or your brunch food.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
at least to fit like a bathroom shot of whatever you're wearing.
it's
Give me that.
It is. I get what you're saying, and I feel like it is mostly true. I will say that, like, of the super rich people I've met, it's 50-50 whether they're scumbags or whether their children seem like scumbags. Like, I met the son of the CEO of Dunkin' Donuts one time, and
Whoa.
It just made my fucking skin crawl, because like he thought he was really interesting, and it was clear because people know he's insanely loaded and are just like listening to anything he'll say, because it's like, how do I get closer to this guy? How do I get close to the money? And it's like, this guy sucks. Like, I hate listening. I just hate talking to this guy. And then I bet other people who, their fathers are, I mean, they're not like CEO of Dunkin' Donuts rich, but they're like, their father's definitely a multimillionaire, and they're totally cool, awesome people who I'd love to hang out with. Like, I do. It's like the nature versus nurture thing. It's like, like I'm sure there's ways to make your children shitty by giving them too much money. But I don't know if you're guaranteed to fuck them up.
What if it was like every 5 years they have to take like a BuzzFeed personality quiz, and then if they do good by you, then like you hear a cha-ching.
Oh my God. Your Pokemon is a Snorlax. We're cutting your
Yeah, I'm Venmo charging.
Yeah. You really should have been a Bildry or Dreebill.
Yeah.
What is it called?
I
Drill
don't
B? I don't remember. Buzz Drill. There we go. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know about that, because I think about that too. It's like, God, I'm starting to think more about children, and it's like I'm excited to be able to provide more than I received, but it's like you don't want to give them everything, and then they just turn into like entitled brats.
I was just thinking about that, like, the idea of like finally financially learn, doing things for your future and your family's future, and like, I don't even do that as like I'm a man now or whatever. Like finally I'm adulting, where it's like it's just an instinct, right?
Yeah.
And how like when you like okay I'm backtracking here. So I did this a few times because of how much you were into was it Ned and Stacy? Max and yeah.
Stacy. They're great.
No, yeah. It's like there was a time whenever things were like going bad, like I would just listen to an episode by them because then it's like reassuring and it feels good.
They call it being relentlessly optimistic.
Yeah, and it's nice. And then like I noticed that I do that when I take supplements. Where it's like I take a supplement and I'm like, I don't feel any different, but then I just go online and read the benefits of ginkgo biloba. But so say that when I have a kid, instead of going into their room and kissing them on their forehead, I'm just gonna read the life insurance policy. That's when I know I'm a man.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're workshopping a bit here, Manolo?
Just thought I had.
It's just a thought you had and wrote down and are testing
No,
it?
I swear to God I didn't.
I'm kidding. That's funny. So, just to ask, what do you think makes you different from the people we were complaining about earlier? That you are willing to experiment and invest and look at this stuff, because I think that personality type you're describing, I think goes even further. I think they probably think the idea of investing in the stock market is like a gross, weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they also would be like, God, what are you, a millionaire? Oh, share the wealth. Oh.
I think all of that kicked in when I had to think outside myself. Like we keep going back to it where it's like, I have to take care of people, or I want to. There's that. I feel like I'm a very doom and gloom person, but there's something hopeful when it comes to seeing something that could break or like fix whatever systematic ills of the world.
Right.
So it's like, I was a Bernie supporter, and the ideas that were coming out of that before the 2016 primaries was exciting, and then seeing an establishment destroy hope was kind of gross. It was like a concerted, beautiful execution of hope. Like
by the supposed good guys.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like that, where like I feel like Bitcoin feels like hope. It's the first thing where it feels.
Hope.com redirects to Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I think I'm always into, as far as like personality wise, like I get excited about things that could change broken things, that could potentially, like, people have opinions on whatever progressive policies, but the idea that it's a new thing and we could try it out is exciting.
Yeah,
I feel like crypto is like that.
Yeah.
Bitcoin more specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about those folks that they can't see it in that way.
It's just it's not as harmful as the Fox News thing, but it is the same template.
Yeah.
I would say that it's just like
Do you think
blindly influenced.
think
branding.
your early years of like searching around weird shit on the internet opened you up to taking in information that's outside of the mainstream, and that's why you're able to
Yeah, I think it's like a personality thing. Like I said, it's that hipster mentality of like, that's the thing. I'm gonna look at the other thing. I don't have a lot of energy for it anymore. But yeah, it's like when you had that energy and excitement to be able to like discover things. I was always a seeker type.
right.
And find something new and then get into it. And it's weird how it applies to like trying to secure a future in society
Yeah.
so I could exist.
The Bitcoiners talk a lot about time preference. Have you heard any of that?
What's that?
So basically, you switched from. I hope I get this right because I always mix up the two. But you switched from a high time preference where before you were thinking about your future, you were just like thinking about what was right in front of your face. Like, I want to buy that toy. I'm going to buy takeout. I'm eating. I'm spending my money to get through the day to day. And then you were forced to think in a low time preference where you started thinking about your future and the things you need to do today to prepare for a better future. And I think maybe that's just a thing that happens as you get older, or
For sure.
or like when you find yourself in a relationship that feels like it's gonna last, and like you need to. Maybe it's a maturity thing, and a lot of people are stuck in an adolescence.
Yeah, I think for sure I feel like I have some heightened awareness of the changes in my body. But like there's that time in your 30s where you feel the changes in your body,
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
but it is, I always wonder if like what is it and I feel like your brain is included in that, where like you feel the changes in your brain.
Yeah.
And like, you know, obviously there's hormone things, but also there's that idea, I don't know if it's theory, I feel like it's everyone agrees on it, is like the perception of time moves faster, where like when you don't have a lot of life experience, then time goes so slow because that's your relationship with time or something.
That's interesting.
And so years go by fast when you're older.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy. And so yeah, it is that thing where it's like one reason I didn't think about wanting to be a doctor is because how long schooling was. And then when you know, I've like maybe one or two friends from high school that became doctors. And I was like, oh, or lawyers too. And like, it's like, oh, that wasn't that long.
Yeah.
Like 8 years isn't long.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I only knew.
I know.
Because yeah, I still have, I'm very ADD.
Me too.
I am very like I have poor impulse control. But there is that other side where, you know, you do think of planning for the future type stuff, which is weird, and it didn't click in until, you know, my late 30s or whatever.
Yeah. Basically same.
Also, I wonder if a lot of it had to do with getting a good job too. Because
where you actually have the possibility to make decisions beyond Chinese versus Thai.
Yeah, I feel like I always got by. I was always hand to mouth, well into adulthood, and then like this is the first time, and then like, you know, there's that broken spirit, and then now I have the corporate job broken spirit.
Yeah.
Where, like, But at least, I could plan for a future where I could hopefully get out and
Yeah.
enjoy some kind of freedom from my wheelchair.
Well, that leads me to my last written down question here. What does the next 10 years look like to you? What do you foresee us going through as people, as a nation, as a planet in the next 10 years?
I would dox myself. I'd be more doxed.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to talk in generalities?
Yeah, I'm gonna give my full what kind of Asian I am. Then you can find me faster.
One more point of correlation.
Let me triangulate. The whole fucking AI thing, the idea of technology exponentially increasing, whatever, is wild. And I'm kind of, again, with the change thing, I feel like it's mostly going to be bad. But I'm excited to be a witness to it. Knock on wood. That I feel like the AI thing's gonna change our world within probably even 5 years.
Yeah,
Like it's I feel like everything's gonna blindside us. So I can't say what 10 years is because I feel like things are gonna change faster than that. Ideally, I would be more secure and have a family to take care of where I could read all the life insurance policies in one hand and jerk off in the other.
Because the old ball and chain ain't doing it. Yeah. Do you believe that Google engineer when he says they have a sentient AI?
That's what's kind of funny. Regardless of what you believe, they're gonna, as far as souls go, they're gonna be basically NPCs. Is that the word? Non-playable characters? They're non-playable characters.
Yeah.
And that's just as sentient as we are. And so, yeah, I feel like humans, especially white people, are good enough with oppression that we'll have it under control. We're going to look to you.
Wow.
We're going to look to you to save us.
You got to bring it to race.
You're going to save us from the robot uprising.
We're going to build them, and then we'll protect you from them.
Yeah.
Although, no way. You know what? I bet there's a lot of fucking Asian people in there tinkering away on computers.
Yeah, we're going to be married to them. We're going to be too.
You have to break up with your full body pillow to marry your to marry an
How do
AI.
I get that exoskeleton into this pillowcase? How do you put a pillowcase on the Terminator? It's basically
It's a waifu.
Yeah.
The arms rip out the side.
There's like one red eye. Sorry, Asians.
That's hilarious.
I failed us.
I'll be back, senpai.
I'm excited just because as a child who's interested in novelty, to see what the robots do. And hopefully we'll be secure, at least in my lifetime.
Nice.
And then you could uprise afterwards.
Well, that was fun. I say let's leave it there.
Mm.
All right. Almost said your real name. Woo! Where do you want to send people? What do you want people to know about you?
Okay, well, go on Twitter. My Twitter handle is 1080ok, like _ I guess.
Not I guess. It's
1080.
the number 1, number 0, number 8, number 0, _ the letter O, the letter K, baby.
And maybe I'll be doxxed and I'll have more than 50. How many followers do I have? And they're all like fake. I have so many fake followers.
I get a ton of fake hot Asian girl followers. Do you as
Nice.
well?
No, I think this is the algorithm working.
What the fuck?
They got you. They know what you want. Mine's tall white girls. No, yeah, and like, you know, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm still gonna be like an NFT guy. Sorry,
It's
but
fine. I won't.
you know,
I won't shame you. But
yeah,
others might.
it's fine. I mean, you know, I'm an artist, and we all wanna not have a
Day job.
shitty day job,
Yeah.
and hope I'm gonna keep it going, even though I'm not making any strides here in this part of my life. But hopefully something happens.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. That was
Yeah.
fun.
I had fun.
Bye.
All right, that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you're finding value in the things Extremely Live is producing, please send us value in return. That can take many forms. It could take the form of a nice review of our podcast. It could be sending our URL to a friend, www.extremely.live, or it could be in the form of a donation. You can do that at extremely.live/donate. All donations $10 and above are counted as a producer credit, and you have your note and name read live on air and on the podcast. You're not a donor, you are a producer. That's the value for value system. And with that, I will say, have a good rest of your day or night, and thank you for listening.